In this video, I want to go through the application of Excel by summarizing order information from a customer database. So let's take a look and start talking a little bit about the problem background. The scenario is this. We have several tabs within our spreadsheet, such as ordering information, which comes from a line-by-line order. So a customer will order a quantity of a particular book, and the book information that they ordered will be provided. Customer information, so where they're located, within what state, and if potential discounts apply. We're given a discount tab, which also shows which shows the level of discount that each customer is available for, and a product catalog to get cost on the products that they're ordering, and a flat rate shipping table. So for whatever order, at the end of the day, when we calculate all of these totals, any order that's shipped is going to have a flat rate. The objective here is to access really all the information within a spreadsheet and develop a summary of the amount due. And once we actually have this derived in our tab, we want to finally just sort that list. So let's go ahead and take a look at the starting file for this activity. So once we open up the starting file, we'll actually see that the workbook has several tabs in it. And I just want to go through each one of these tabs to try to describe the task at hand. So in the amount due tab, we have all of our customers listed and from our customer information data set. Now, some of these customers might eventually have zero amount due, and some might actually have orders. So the idea is that we have a list of individual customers here. There's no duplication whatsoever. We can calculate the total price after discount by accessing the orders tab, which is next. Once we have that subtotal, we can actually apply the flat rate shipping, which comes from another tab called flat rate shipping. Finally, we can calculate the total due per customer. So let's just go through some of these tabs here. The order tab will have the customer number. So there could potentially be duplicates. It does look like, for example, A2, this 137037, actually appears multiple times. So this particular customer has ordered 3 of these products, 4 of these products, and 5 of these products, and it's likely that this customer will appear in the remaining portion of this database. So we have the quantity of products ordered, the product information, and then we have some cells here that I've left blank for you to calculate. So the per unit price, we can get that information from the product catalog tab. The price after discount, we're going to have to know a little bit about our customer in terms of what discount the customer is actually getting for this order. And finally, a subtotal. Now the idea is that once we have this tab filled, we can use a sum ifs on the total amount due to calculate some of these things. Let's go ahead and cover the customer information. Here we have a list of all of our customer numbers. They have, these are all unique, by the way. We have first and last names, the gender, the age, the state. State will be important to determine the flat rate shipping. And then, of course, we have a discount level. The discount level is listed here, 1 through 3. And if you go to the next tab, it appears that a discount level of 0 equals a 0% reduction of the order. A discount level of 1 equals 3% reduction. A discount level of 2 equals 7. And finally, a discount level of 3 equals a 15% reduction on their orders. Going to the product catalog, we have a list of ISBN numbers. So this is going to simulate purchasing books. Various authors are listed here, the title of the book, copyright, whether it's a hard or a soft cover book, the unit price, which would be important, and some other information here that's not necessarily that relevant when we're trying to just calculate what is due per customer. Finally, we have the flat rate shipping. So based on state, we have these flat rate shipping. So no matter if they order 1 book or 100, we just want to apply a flat rate shipping to these states. Okay, so let's go ahead and start formulating what's necessary to know in order to calculate the total amount due. I would recommend starting on the Orders tab and go ahead and start filling out the unit price. So to access information on another tab, one of the more relevant features in Excel that we use is the index match. So let's go ahead and use the index to access the per unit price. So we have the index, the array. The array will actually come from the product catalog. We want to return the price. So let's go ahead and highlight this entire range of data. Looks like we have about 227 different books. We'll now use our match to find the correct row. So if we go back here, we need to look up the product number, which is here. Now, if you're accessing other tabs, sometimes what happens is you'll access information on another tab, then come back to the tab you're formulating your formula on. You'll see it puts this order exclamation mark. I tend to get rid of this after I reference it because if you end up sorting, that actually can cause a problem. So I'm going to take that reference off and just reference C2. C2 is fine since it's on this sheet. Comma, where are we going to look up this product? Well, that's going to come from the product catalog again. We can go all the way to the left and highlight the ISBN numbers. I'm going to use my $, match type 0, parenthesis, comma. Now, since we are only looking up that one column of information in our index, we can force this to look up that one column. So it's the only column in that range that we indicated in the index. So let's go ahead and hit enter. The per unit price of this product is $79.95. We can calculate what it's going to cost for 3 and then apply the discount, which is what we want to do. Okay, let's go ahead and fill down our unit price. If we fill this down, we have the per unit prices on all of these books. So what we need to do now is calculate the total and then apply a discount. So there's a couple ways we can do this. You might want to embed this formula into one cell, which would actually complicate the formula in the cell, or you could actually go about a different strategy and add some more columns. So what I'm going to do is actually try to make this as streamlined as possible and go ahead and try to embed this entire formula in the one single cell. So what I want to do is look up the discount type per customer. So let's go ahead and start with an index match. The array that I'm going to want to access is on the customer information, and it's going to be the last column, discount level. So let's go ahead and highlight that entire column of information. Looks like it's H2 to H101. Use our $, we don't want that to change. We need some sort of value to look up what row. That's going to be our customer number. So let's write match. The lookup value will be from our orders page. I'm going to look up that customer number. Again, I'm going to take this reference off. You could leave it, but I tend to run into some issues when you leave that and then actually do some sorting. So I tend to always take it off. The lookup array, so basically we're looking up the customer number. The customer array will be in the customer information tab, and we're going to look up that number in the first column here. So A2 through A101, comma, we want an exact match, 0, parenthesis. And for the same reason that I described last time, we're only indexing a single column so we can force the column number to be 1. Okay, so this is formatted as a currency, but we haven't actually reached the form where this is a currency yet. What we have actually done is indicated which discount type is offered. So now we know the lookup value to go ahead and access the discounts tab, and we can look up that discount level and return the reduction. Okay, so keep in mind that this cell is eventually going to be the match or the lookup value in our match. Okay, so this formula is going to get rather lengthy, so I'm going to expand this formula window just a little bit. So there's a couple strategies you can use. Maybe what you want to do is highlight this entire thing and simply copy it to your clipboard. Or you can go ahead and start the other index match while leaving this here. It's really up to you. And of course, the other strategy is adding the extra columns, which is fine too. But if you want to streamline these spreadsheets, sometimes it's actually beneficial to add a little bit more complexity. I'm going to go ahead and leave this here and write my other index. So index, the array that I want to index is going to be discount, and it's going to be the reduction. So this is what I want to return. Use your $signs, comma. Now we need a row. Again, that'll be determined by the discount level. So we have match, parenthesis, lookup value. Now that first index that we wrote is actually the lookup value, so that's fine. Let's go to the end, say comma, lookup array. Where do we actually want to look that up? We actually want to look that up right here. And the discount tab. $signs, comma, 0, parenthesis. And for the same reason I was describing earlier, since we're only accessing one column of information, this will always be column number 1. So let's end our second index, if you will, the first one that appears in the formula, and hit enter. And let's fill this down. Now we're starting to see the discounts. So 15% off, 0% off, 3% off, and so forth. So what I would actually do in this situation is go back to the formula and say, okay, well, what price are we going to pay? It's actually going to be a calculation 1 minus this discounted rate, or the percent off, if you will. So I'm going to put 1 minus and then all of those index matches that we just calculated, and then an ending parenthesis. Okay, again, this is showing up as currency, but it's not going to be currency until we actually multiply the quantity times the unit price times this factor. Okay, so in the first case, they're going to pay 100% of the cost. Next one, they're going to pay 85%. Okay, so what we need to do, we can go to the end of the formula and say multiply this rate by a product of the quantity times the unit price. Okay, so if we hit equals, we'll have the total price for this customer ordering 3 units of this product of $239.85. So let's fill that formula down. Now we actually do have everything we need. And since we have the subtotal, I think I took it one step too far. What we could actually do is just take out the quantity and list here the price after discount per unit. So let's go ahead and double click this, and all I'm going to do is take off this reference to B2 in this case and hit enter. And so this column E will represent the actual per unit after discount. And the subtotal, we can then say 3 times the price after discount. I think that's a little bit better. So for example, if you remember, the customer is going to pay 100% of this cost. We don't have any reduction. And the next one was a discounted price. So that customer would normally pay $54, but since we had that discount, they're going to pay $45.90. Okay, fill that formula down. And again, this is getting a little bit more complicated than what we perhaps have seen before. But the idea is that if you want to streamline some of these spreadsheets, you might not actually want multiple columns of calculations. Let's go to the amount due. We have total price after discount, and then flat rate shipping, and then once we actually have the shipping, we can simply tack on the shipping to that price. So here I would recommend doing a sum total, not a sum total, a sum ifs, and let's go to the order tab, and let's go ahead and sum ifs. The sum range will be subtotal here. Okay. It doesn't look like it actually, I did that right, so I'm going to highlight that again and use my dollar signs, comma. The criteria range is that I want to sum up anytime I actually see a customer number that is equal to the value on the left. So in this case, the range will be on order, and that'll be my customer number. Dollar signs, comma, and then as far as the amount due, we need to go back there and select the criteria. So again, I'm going to delete that reference and go to customer number. Okay, since I selected twice, it's going to come back and hit the parenthesis, and we should be all set. Fill this formula down. So what is happening in this situation is we're simply summing up all of the adjusted orders from the order page. So again, there could be duplications of customer orders per product in this case, and we're calculating the unit price, the discounted unit price, and the subtotal, and we're tallying all the subtotals per customer number in the amount due tab. Flat rate shipping, we need to know a little bit about the customer. So we need to know what state this customer is from. So let's go ahead and use an index match. The array will actually be reported from the customer information. We want to return the state, so G2 through G101, dollar signs, comma. Row number will start with a match. We need to go back to the amount due and access the customer information, comma. The lookup array will be in customer information, and it will be in the first column, A, dollar signs, comma, 0, parenthesis, comma, 1. And I'm going to go ahead and remove this again and only show the A2 reference. The state is going to be Wyoming, and we're going to use that just like we did before as a match lookup value. Okay, so let's go ahead and access the flat rate shipping index, flat rate shipping. The value we want to return is the shipping itself, F4 for your dollar signs, comma. Now we need the match of the state that we just pulled up about that customer, comma. Where are we going to look that up? Well, we're going to look up the states here. Use your F4, comma, 0 for exact, parenthesis, comma, 1, since we're only dealing with that single column in our index, and hit enter. Flat rate shipping for Wyoming is $8.95. We could check that out. If we actually go back to the tab, $8.95 is the last value we pulled. Let's go back to the amount due and fill this formula down, and I'm going to apply the currency, and we actually have the total left to calculate. The total will just simply be a sum, since we have a flat rate shipping, of the total price after discount comma, and 8.95. Of course, we could have just used the plus sign too. Let's hit enter. This customer owes us 157. We can fill this down. And there's one bit of logic that we need to implement. For example, this customer here. The second customer didn't order anything in terms of books, but we're charging them shipping. Well, obviously that doesn't make sense. So actually what I would recommend is going back to the flat rate shipping and doing something like this. If the total price after discount equals 0, then this should be 0. Else, go ahead and list that formula and let it do its thing. Put an ending parenthesis on, hit enter. Let's fill this down, and now we have zeros anytime we have zeros here. Could make this a little bit more robust and actually do a count of the number of products that a particular customer ordered. I don't think it's necessarily likely that you can order books and still have a 0 charge, meaning sort of a free book. So I'm not necessarily going to build that extra logic in, but you certainly could. And you could tie this conditional part to the count to make sure that they are ordering something. Okay, let's go ahead and hit close there. And the final thing that I wanted done in this particular exercise was to just sort the total amount. So let's highlight this entire range, this table that we're creating, and sort by the total amount in a descending fashion. So it appears that this customer owes us nearly $5,000, and everything else is sorted in a descending fashion. And so we have several customers not owing us anything. That's fine, of course. So let's sort of wrap up this learning activity. The learning activity is really trying to get you to actually reference other information and going through the process of actually writing formulas to do that in a way that is dynamic in nature. So if I ever needed to change discounts, I could certainly change these percents off. I could change the flat rate shipping, and this spreadsheet is really in a position where we can make any of those changes and it's going to calculate the shipping correctly. So we went through the exercise, if you will, of looking up unit price. Then price after discount, it got a little bit complicated because in order to find the correct price of the after discount, we had to look up the discount level. And that actually required us to know a little bit more about our customers, and then we had to do a secondary index match to find what that discount level would be. Once we had that price per unit after discount, we simply had a subtotal, which is the quantity ordered times the price after discount. We then summarized that with a sum ifs, found the shipping rate, and then sum those to get a total sum. The final step, we simply just sorted this, and we now know that what each customer owes us based on this order. And it could be something that daily orders are tracked, and this type of spreadsheet is used to actually go ahead and bill the customer once at the end of the day. So if you were a customer ordering in the morning, afternoon, and night, we're not going to actually charge you 3 times for shipping. We're going to charge you once and complete our orders daily.